Welcome to the Waiver Wire. Waiver Wire.
Waiver Wire.
Waiver Wire.
Waiver Wire.
Waiver. All right. What up? Welcome to the Waiver Wire,
What's
where
up,
fantasy
y'all?
players become fantasy legends. The Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. Season's
Man.
over. Season's
over. The Rams are the champions.
Rams are the champs. So it worked.
Yeah, they went
worked.
for broke, and they did it.
And it's actually
Twice in a row, same stadium, home team. We've
that's
never
funny,
had
too.
it before.
Never
and
had it
we did
before.
back to
2
back.
years in a row, home team wins the Super Bowl in their own stadium.
Yeah.
That's funny. But it worked. Like we see this a lot in basketball, where teams will sign big stars, big name players, and it works out. But you don't see that in football. Usually,
No, you usually don't. Yeah,
usually
usually
it's the other way around. Like it just doesn't seem to work.
Kurt Warner brought up a good point after the game where he was like, we pretend like this is something that they did this year, but in reality, they've been doing this kind of ever since Sean McVay got there. Trading to get up and go get Jared Goff, or trading and go and get Jalen Ramsey and Aqib Talib when he had those two together. And just kind of like every year saying, I don't value picks as much as I do being a good team
They
right
don't
now.
value the first round picks.
Well-
and that's the difference, because what they're doing, because what they have the most drafted players than any other team.
Wow.
Like on their squad,
I didn't know
they
that.
had the most, I think it was, the most as far, like 30 something players that they were drafted homegrown players. They're just young.
Yeah.
They're just third, fourth, fifth round players.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say this might be one of those years where if Brady has Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown, maybe the Rams aren't here. If
a lot of things happen.
a lot
that
of
went
injuries, a
in
lot of
their
things went in the right direction. It's
the 49ers pick off that pass
Yeah,
at the end of the
yeah,
quarter,
yeah.
and they're not even there.
now
So,
you could probably say that about every single
right,
year.
of course. Well, but any team,
Yes.
I would imagine. I mean, something has to go your right.
I'm
the
not
ball
ready-
has to bounce your way.
I'm not ready to say the Rams are the betting favorite for next year, or that they are a powerhouse, or that they could repeat this again. I think they're going to be a good team, but I don't know. It was just
It's hard to repeat.
it was underwhelming. That's how I felt at the end, because I think everybody was kind of rooting for Cincinnati.
Everybody was, but
That was the cool
somebody,
story.
I can't remember who said it, but they do say that how the Super Bowl will expose your flaws. And it happened in the second half.
Offensive line.
Six. It didn't show up, and they played great in the first half.
Yeah.
Right? And then in the second half,
That guard,
it just
whatever that guard's name was, they kept showing him again and again because Aaron Donald just kept fucking him up.
And then it
Aaron
was
Donald is
everybody
amazing,
else.
though. Aaron Donald is amazing.
and he needed to be. And Von Miller was amazing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that it wouldn't have been as close if Odell hadn't got hurt, because once he got hurt, their offense just struggled.
Yeah.
Just struggled.
Well, the momentum switched, and their defense got a pick. Then they got a second one off that deflection. And I think that you saw momentum. And, Odell was playing great, but Cincinnati had this history of they let them because they let the Rams kind of punch them in the mouth early, and then Cincinnati fights back. So
they kind of did that. I mean, absolutely did with KC.
Yeah.
They got destroyed. And
a
then
lot of questionable calls. A lot of people have a lot of always. It feels like every Super Bowl you got a lot of grief.
But it went both ways.
Yeah, you didn't get the face.
A lot of people
You
are mad
didn't
at the
get
one
the
at
face
the end,
mask
but yeah,
on
like
Jalen
fucking
Ramsey.
Higgins.
And honestly, at the end, if I'm Cincinnati, I would have let him score a lot sooner than they did.
Just to have more time.
They fought because
But they had plenty of time, and they had all their time
yeah,
out.
plenty of times not. I feel like the pressure wouldn't have been there had it been 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes as opposed to a minute and a half. I know that sounds silly, but if this was inevitable and they were going to get it anyways, and they did, then especially when you gave up the last holding call and now it was first and goal on the 1. It's like, just stand up. And then they stopped Matt Stafford on a quarterback sneak. That wasted more time. I was just of the mindset like, look, the Joe Burrow, this is what bothered me about the last play too. It's 4th and 1. Why was something not? This is where Joe Burrow's age kind of came against him, because he should have had something picked. He should have known before he even said hut, he was going to go 1, 2, 3, boom, and just either drop it off, turn it into a bootleg run, run it with Joe Mixon. It should have been decided, but he had no time. Aaron Donald was in the backfield immediately, and it just didn't seem like a good play call. Why are we not running the ball? Why didn't we just try to get a yard? I think Joe Mixon could have got you a yard. All hindsight 2020, I guess, but
the Bengals are in a good place.
Oh,
right now.
yeah.
I mean, like they have.
Oh, yeah.
They're like $45 million under the cap.
Yeah, they have the third,
and they're
most
bringing
cap
back
room.
like everybody.
Everybody's coming back except for CJ Uzma is the only one that's becoming a free agent.
Okay, sign Uzma.
Yep.
Go build your offensive line.
31st pick of this year's draft. The Cincinnati Bengals select fill in the blank tackle or guard. You know,
and then sign a couple veterans.
Yep.
Get you some DBs.
I think plenty of people are going to want to go play there too. I think this attracted a lot of people, the free agents, to say, you know what, I'd take less money to go play with Joe Burrow and see what that's like, because
well, they don't need receivers. They don't need help. They don't need weapons.
They don't need receivers. They could use another running back to help Joe out.
Maybe I can see better. But that's one of the things that Joe Mixon is good. Is the whole point is he is a 3-down back.
Yeah.
If they would like to use him
and
that
he can
way.
Catch.
Well, and that also, but that adds that dimension. So
I'll tell you,
if one back can do all of it, the defense struggles to know what you're doing. If you're rotating backs and one of them is a pass catching back and one of them is the one that carries it, then at least when one back's in, you kind of have a little bit better of idea what they're going to run, right?
Well, I've been saying it all year, and I'm going to say it again. Next year's fantasy football draft, I've been saying it before y'all got in the playoffs. I'm going for you Bengals. Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. I want them all.
I mean, but and LA's going to be good again next year, too.
Yeah, they will. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they won't be the same.
Stafford's going to be there, and Cooper Kupp's going to be there.
And so, yeah, you're good. Cooper Kupp's the number 1 pick. That's why I wrote his name on the board over here. Because for fantasy football next year, he is the number 1 fucking pick. You're crazy if you don't.
Yeah.
You're crazy if you don't.
Well, I mean, we a few years ago, Antonio Brown was going number 1 overall.
Yep.
And it wasn't stupid.
No, it wasn't. And Cooper Kupp has done it.
Oh, yeah.
He is
and
absolutely
Cooper Kupp better than what Antonio Brown was a few years ago, right?
Cooper Kupp, I mean, and listen.
But he also had like a
all
historical season. So chances are next year he's going to be less than what he was this year.
Yeah, I can't imagine him repeating it, but I mean, I can't be the person that it has the number 1 pick and goes, I'm going to get Jonathan Taylor instead of Cooper Kupp.
But if Derrick Henry hadn't gotten hurt, we'd be having a totally different conversation.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry would be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, but the problem is, and I hate to say it, I'm moving Derrick Henry over into the side of, I think he's going to get hurt again, though. He's now shown me a couple of years in a row that he has that in him.
There is the thing when running backs, and I think I would imagine you can look this up as a stat, but the fall off after they have so many seasons of 300 plus carries that it does. But Derrick Henry is not a normal man.
No, I'm with you, and I'm probably wrong about him. But with the used car analogy that I put on last year of Christian McCaffrey,
I don't want the number 1
Dalvin Cook. I don't want Derrick Henry.
I don't want the number 1 pick.
I don't want the number 1 pick either. But if I have it, I'm picking Cooper fucking Kupp.
I don't know, man.
I'm playing it safe, and I'm picking Cooper fucking Kupp, or I might pick Jamar Chase, because I'll tell you this much: that kid is going to have another good year. He's going to have another good year.
Imagine how much better he'll be if Burrow takes 30 less sacks.
Yeah. If they can get some help up front and he can stand up a little bit and watch and let him develop.
Or where they can't double team him. On they can't always put safeties over the top because you have to bring them down.
Did you see how open Jamar Chase was on that 4th and 1? Jalen Ramsey fell down. He was wide open, running a seam down the edge. If Joe Burrow would have had half a second to look up and see that, we're talking about a whole different end of a Super Bowl. We're talking about the greatest comeback, the greatest, this kid in the second year.
And they were there.
Wins on a walk-off.
I thought it was a pretty good game, man.
I mean you get that 4th and 1, you get down a little farther, you kick a field goal, now momentum's on your side.
It was close. It was entertaining.
It was a good game. It was a really good game.
But if you looking back, like thinking about it, I'm glad that the Rams won. And I said I was rooting for the Bengals, but when I was watching it, I was not.
No, I was rooting for the Bengals the whole time.
Because, I mean, Whitworth, Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, fucking, who's the safety?
I don't like Eric Weddle. I don't like us throwing Matt Stafford in the Hall of Fame for this.
No.
I think that's a little premature.
But his career's also not over yet.
Now, I get that, but I think you got to hold against someone being bad for so long.
They were talking about this today. Stephen A. was about Stafford being in the Hall of Famer now, asking the question. And then they brought up Eli Manning. And apparently there's big talk about Eli's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, Eli won twice.
True.
And Eli, I would say, kept a more competitive ball club most of the time. They were at least a better team than the Detroit Lions were under the tutelage of fucking Matt Stafford. You know what I mean? First of all, I've seen Eli Manning play in more playoff games. Up until this point, Matt Stafford's playing
are a much better franchise than the Lions.
True.
Can we agree on that?
True. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is that you had Calvin Johnson, and for years, you couldn't win. You couldn't come close to win. For 13 years, you sucked. And as good as your numbers might be that you racked up with Calvin Johnson and anybody else fill in the blank, you still weren't really a winner. So it's hard for me to go, oh, yeah, one season, he's good to go. Like, I don't know.
I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. I haven't even looked at his numbers, but Eli?
If Phillip Rivers had walked over to another team and he won a championship, I think I could have made a better case in that sense because Phillip Rivers had so many Charger teams that were number one
close,
seed.
Yeah.
They would win in the playoffs like one game and then they'd lose to the Patriots or something like that.
I mean, Stafford had only been to the playoffs one time.
Like that's the thing is like
he was 0-1.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, I think he had been. No, I think he had been to the playoffs three times.
3 times. You're right,
and lost in the division round.
Yeah, he hadn't won
in every single.
I mean, I think Eli would be a better candidate for the Hall of Fame over Stafford right now, but I don't think Eli's a Hall of Famer.
I think Eli's also on the bubble. I'm with you. I mean, it kind of seems like if you win 2 championships, they put you in as far as a quarterback goes.
And it was Richard. So on that question, is Matt Stafford a Hall of Famer? Underneath it was Richard Sherman's quote saying that the Hall of Fame is not what it used to be. It's watered down now that they let anybody in.
Well, I won't say that they let anybody in, but with quarterbacks, he might be right. With quarterbacks, I think they do kind of just say, did you win 2? Okay,
but is it also because he's a Manning? I mean, he's part of fucking football royalty.
It might be.
Is Archie a Hall of Famer?
No, I don't think so because he never won. And he wasn't that great when he was in the league. He was just middle of the tier. So, yeah. Odell Beckham, it came out today, torn ACL.
Okay, I didn't see it, but it looked like it.
It did look like a torn ACL when non-contact went down. It was like, oh, man.
Nobody's going to sign him.
Right?
He won't even play next year.
I can't imagine. I mean, even if he could maybe make it back for the playoffs.
But he's a free agent, right?
Yeah.
So nobody
would sign him. It doesn't make any sense, especially he lost on a lot of money is what he did. Because if he could have balled out for the rest of this Super Bowl, made himself look good, somebody would have paid him, you know?
Oh, yeah. Someone would have paid him number 1.
It might not have been the Rams because I don't know if they have the money. It would have been a bad team and he could have got paid. He lost out on a lot of money.
Yeah, he did.
A lot of money. But
I mean,
he's made a lot of money too. So
but he's had a rough career with injuries, you know.
Yes, and this is probably it for him. Honestly, if I'm being, I mean, does he bounce back from this?
Does he even want to?
Is he the same player? No, he
won a Super Bowl
this last year. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl. Aaron Donald. Also, speaking of possible retirements,
he didn't say anything though, did he?
He didn't. After the game, he said he was going to take the next couple of days.
I'm living in the moment.
Yeah, but he had told Rodney Harrison in an interview earlier in that Super Bowl week that he was contemplating if they won to just walk off into the sunset. Look, playing defensive tackle is not like playing quarterback.
No,
I mean, you are down. You are slamming into huge men that are hand fighting you and punching you in the chest, and you're having a fucking car collision every single time they say hut. And Aaron Donald, this is what amazes me about Aaron Donald. He's not J.J. Watt size. He's not a giant man. He's like 6'2", 6'3".
He's just strong.
He's just a little bull that you can't fucking stop him. And if you get into a one-on-one situation with a guy that you either it's a tackle or a guard or a center that sometimes it looks stature wise is probably taller and bigger than him. You see him in a one-on-one and you go, uh-oh. Well, that person's in for a fucking. You need two human beings to stop him.
Yeah.
So you're up against the Hulk, bro. You're about to get thrown around. Rich Eisen said that he's like an Avenger. Like when he hits you, it's like, oh God. Like there was that whole where they got in a fight with him because he hit Joe Burrow going out of bounds.
It was legal, though.
And Joe Burrow was still in bounds. I wasn't even mad, but I was like, look, I mean,
just pushed him.
He was still in bounds. He pushed him, and yeah. Joe Burrow went flying because it's like he's fucking so strong. Like you're lucky that Aaron Donald didn't just decide, you know what? I'll take the penalty, or maybe I'll get thrown out of this game. Like if he had really wanted to fuck him up, he could have fucked him up.
He pushed him. I mean, like he could have, and I get it. The Bengals have to go after.
Yeah,
him, right?
I loved it. I loved that this shitty offensive line came and stood up for him.
You have
got
to protect
and that was great.
Like that.
But we're talking about Aaron Donald as we're watching the Super Bowl. Me and my Macedonian friend Alexander, I talked to him. I want him to come on and us just him be a guest. UFC. He loves the UFC. That's his passion. So I want him to go off and talk about the fighters. But I was telling him, and he agrees with me completely. Aaron Donald right now, because he's probably in one of his physical. He's probably at close to his prime. Maybe his prime was like a couple of years ago. But if you take him and you get him in a training facility for MMA and give him 1 year, he's a champion. He's a champion at heavyweight, and he complete. I mean, the if we look at Greg Hardy in the UFC, who Greg Hardy was good in the NFL. He was good. He was a Pro Bowler.
He was just a problem.
And he was a problem. But Aaron Donald is. JJ Watt, if you train JJ Watt from the time he was like 19 and you were like, hey, you're not going to play football, I just want you to fuck dudes up, he would be a world champion. There's different levels of athletes in the NFL, and Aaron Donald is scary. I don't know if he can take a punch. I'm just saying with his athleticism, how strong he is.
I'll bet he could take a punch.
I bet.
Just guessing,
and I bet his punch, I'm going to bet his punch will kill a small moose.
But
like, if he unloaded on a small horse
with a year, he could
right
be
now,
the heavyweight champ.
Heavyweights too.
Who's the heavyweight champ?
It's Francis Ngannou. Yeah, but I mean,
talk about a scary fucking human being.
What a great fight! You're not signing up for that fight. You're not watching Aaron Donald versus Francis Ngannou.
But
that's the biggest pay-per-view ever.
Real here, though.
No, okay. I'm maybe a year is not enough, but I'm just saying if he focused all his energy on it,
very disrespectful to the fighters.
I'm just saying the UFC fighters are great. However, the athletes that joined into MMA in the last 20 years, I would say if you had to separate them into this is the top tier.
So what you're implying here is that currently MMA doesn't get the top tier athletes. Right. But the top tier athletes are playing football and soccer
the NFL
and basketball.
No, not the second one. Definitely not the second one. Definitely not those little people that run around kicking balls. Those are not the top tier. No. Those are down here.
Hold up.
Those are down here in the bottom. Those are the little people like the 125 pounders in the UFC that I don't respect as well.
Obviously, Josh has no idea what he's talking about.
Oh, I know.
But I understand what you're saying. But I can... That's a whole different argument. But let's just... Josh is American, guys, so we'll just stick with...
probably hasty.
You're saying the top athletes are playing basketball and American football.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
And that there isn't... So are there any top-tier athletes in MMA right now?
Yes, and I think that those are the ones that rise to the top.
Do you think Adesanya, if he was from the age of 2 or 3 or whatever, 6, he started playing football, that he wouldn't be a badass fucking cornerback or something?
But the NFL's weird, though, because it takes years. You have to be a special kind of weird to get hit the way that they get hit and be like,
these guys are fighters, bro.
Nah, but you know what I'm saying is true. Like the amount of times that you get hit and hurt in the NFL and hurt badly.
But we're just talking about athleticism right now.
And I think that a lot of the top tier athletes that are in the UFC could switch over into any sport that they wanted to. I don't doubt that Adesanya or Francis Ngannou or Kamara Usman, if they wanted to play another sport, I have no doubt that they could do it. But what I'm saying is, to be an NFL player and to stick it out, it seems like you've got to be, because, dude, okay, in high school, you said you played football randomly, right? I remember we played against Jamal Charles one time, and whenever I was in high school, and Jamal Charles fucking I'm on the bench, right? I'm not even that good, but I'm watching it from the sidelines, and I'm watching this little black kid destroy us, and I'm like, whoa, that's like the greatest athlete that I've ever seen in person. And then he goes on to do good things, not great things.
Well, he got hurt.
He's not an all-time. Of course he got hurt. Of course he got hurt because he's getting smashed by other freaks of nature that I just don't know if it happens in other sports. You don't get running full speed into each other like that in other sports in the same way. You don't. Where it's mint.
Only hockey.
Oh, yeah. Well, sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, I take it all back. Now, and you know what? From being at hockey games and then seeing hockey players in real life and realizing how big they are.
The same. I mean,
there's also something about in hockey, you're trying to take them down, but you both kind of realize that that's what's going on. In football, you can have your head going the other way, have no realization that you are about to get lit the fuck up, and somebody can, with all their might, run and leap into. I mean, it's intense.
You're not wrong. It's intense. It is a very violent and probably the most.
Well, and in the MMA world, don't get me wrong, you're fucking each other up, but there's a science to what you're doing, and it's like, and you can only take so much. So there's a few guys who are freaks that, the Nate Diaz's that can just take punishment. But most people, you get hit enough, you're going down, and this was a short day at the office, and you're like, fuck, man, I got knocked out. But in the NFL, that's where it's amazing that he's 44 years old, that he has been hit so many times, again and again and again. And this crazy guy just kept wanting to come back. Brett Favre. That's why we love Brett Favre, was that this fucking warrior.
Yeah.
Is bleeding through his sock, and he's like limping out there, like, just let me throw it one more time. It's like, I don't know. Best top tier to me, NFL. There are some freaks in the NBA too, and anytime you see an NBA player, you're like, how are you that big? And then you think like, wait, he's like really strong too, but all he does is.
But there's also a reason why you don't see these, especially NBA players, type bodies as fighters.
Well,
right?
you could, but they get
somebody.
Because when they're young and they're tall, we tell these fucking young black kids, you got to go play basketball. We don't tell them to go into the MMA. And if they did, dude, if LeBron James, instead of wanting to be a basketball phenom, was a 6'9", 270 pound
ring and seeing
fucking
LeBron.
Freak of nature, he would dwarf. What's his name? Francis Ngannou.
Oh, yeah.
And Ngannou would be looking up at him.
Yeah,
it would be terrible. And look at LeBron's body. Oh. LeBron's one of the craziest athletes that we've ever had. And Kobe, I mean, if some of those guys decided to be fighters instead, they would be dominant. John Jones, let's not forget, has a brother in the NFL.
Okay, so is John Jones an elite athlete then?
Yes, and I think that John Jones early on, while seeing his brothers who are so much bigger than him and stronger than him and faster than him on the football field, said, man, I'm never going to get to where they're at. Like, I'm never going to be, like, I'll be good. I could be good as an NFL player, but I'm probably not going to, like, Chandler Jones is like one of the best in the league. I'm not going to be that. He's bigger than me, and he has a different tenacity on the football field that I don't have. But what I am good at
didn't both of his brothers play?
Yeah, Arthur did too, yeah. And he's much bigger. He was a defensive tackle. He wasn't as good, but he still played in the NFL. And I think John could have played in the NFL if he wanted to. He just would have been a smaller linebacker / defensive end type, But he
must have realized early that he liked to fight, because didn't his brothers not want to fight him?
Well, once he started training. Once he started training and he started learning how to do things, and then they would come back from college. Chandler would come back from college and stuff, and they would wrestle. They'd be like, ow, fuck, man, what the fuck? No. Stop twisting my arm off. I got a fucking career to worry about. I'm always going to be an advocate for that. The NFL.
Who's older, do you know?
I think Arthur's the oldest Chandler's the middle, and I think John's the baby.
Oh, John's the
Maybe
youngest.
I'm wrong and Chandler's the baby, but I think I'm right. I know Arthur's the oldest. I know that he's the oldest. You imagine fucking feeding those fucking kids.
Good Lord.
Growing up with them roughhousing.
They'd have to.
They're fucking,
holy shit.
They're getting into fucking fights.
Mom
shit,
and dad had to
you're
both
like,
work like 3.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, oh God.
You
oh.
probably just couldn't have anything.
Yeah, you had
nice.
nothing nice. You had nothing nice. Nothing on the walls. The walls were bare. Yeah, absolutely.
That's funny.
Man, did you see that also this weekend, strangely in the Super Bowl time, we had a very weird Kyler Murray incident.
Yeah, I heard he like scrubbed his
So
fucking.
he wipes his Instagram. This is such a millennial young person.
Yeah, I've
weird,
heard that there's this, like-
passive aggressive
Yeah.
thing to do. But he wipes his Instagram of everything but him in a Sooner outfit and him at the Pro Bowl with CeeDee Lamb.
And I thought, and he had. Well, somebody said that you thought he went to Oklahoma, and that now he plays for the A's.
Oh well, he
Like he had all the Oakland A's shit on there still, but
he did.
that's what they said.
Oh,
I don't
well,
remember.
The two pictures that from what I saw, there were two pictures on Kyler Murray's Instagram. It was those two, and the Arizona Cardinals wiped everything off of their Instagram, and they put the picture of CeeDee Lamb and Kyler Murray, and then they put him on draft day holding up instead of the Oklahoma Sooner picture, they put him holding up an Arizona Cardinal jersey. It's kind of like I don't know. Is it trolling? Is it?
Are they fucking with him?
They are kind of fucking with him. And so I think it was yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday of the day of the Super Bowl. He had a quote saying that he's not here for the nonsense and he knows what he's here to do. And he's a serious football player and he's not here to play around. So don't know. That is very interesting.
It's weird that the Cardinals
yeah.
hit that because like that's like literally they were trolling him.
Well, I don't know if they know they were I think maybe in their minds they were like, we support you. You know, like this seems like an old person. This seems
Because
like
what
what
you
my
just
dad.
said to me, I'm like, that's fucking with him.
But that's us understanding social media. This sounds like an old person was like, we should.
They gotta have a social media person, right?
You know what we should do?
To me, it seems like it is a social
Something
media
they don't-
person that's fucking with him back. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna fucking scrub your shit of us. We own you, motherfucker.
Well, I've said this many times to my Turkish and Macedonian friends because they're like, Russell Wilson's going to leave. Kyler Murray's going to leave. But listen, you don't get to just leave in the NFL.
You can Deshaun Watson it.
You can.
You can sit out.
Good for you.
You can
And you
not
know what?
get paid.
Your career is being hurt because of it. Because if you
But
do
what's
this,
he mad about? He played like shit.
yeah, I guess that he's being made the scapegoat is what they're hearing from inside his camp. That it's being put on him, and that there's not a team.
Bro, he didn't
accepting
have
this.
his number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
That offense looks totally different when
you're-
Hopkins is out there. He lost.
This is what his third year in the league.
Yeah.
Like, come on, this is growing pains. Y'all are
if
finding
this
your
is the
way
way
as a
he's
team.
gonna act, though, man. He's
Yeah,
gonna.
if you're already acting like this, I'm with you. If I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I'm like, maybe we should just get rid of this little motherfucker.
But damn,
'Cause-
they fucking drafted what's that? 2 number 1 overall draft picks on quarterbacks back-to-back years,
Yep.
and then you're gonna just get rid
And
of
then
him?
you're gonna just give it up.
Hey, I'll trade for him.
I was thinking about it, but I also think we're going to be bad for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I don't think it really matters who our quarterback is. I'm more willing to let Davis Mills ruin his career, and then we'll figure it out.
Talking about man, Davis Mills.
I want the Giants to do this. I want the Giants, and maybe give us Daniel Jones. We can ruin his career. Why not? But I think the Giants have the best chance of getting Deshaun Watson and still being average. That way, this first round pick that we get for them is still good over the next 3 years. If he
And
goes
there's got to
anywhere
be
else,
a lot of massage parlors in New York, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And he'll keep it hidden there. He'll find a little one down in Asia where they'll fucking blow him out the back and shoot him up the front. And I don't know how it works, but I heard from a friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who knows? Yeah. Anyways, somebody made me a trombone, is what they did. Somebody used me as a fucking wind instrument. No, I'm just kidding. But Kyler Murray, man, he had a good year, but like, I think both of us are kind of worried about his size.
Oh yeah, because
And I
we haven't
don't-
even seen him take a bit. He's a great freak athlete.
But didn't he get hurt? Not this last year, but the year wasn't. I mean, I just
got
feel
hurt
like
this year.
I know he did this year, but then I feel like the year before that too, right, where he missed some time. I
remember.
can't imagine him not missing time every single year. How does he not miss time?
He's
Too
He's
small.
gonna be very like, and I would imagine like
He's not smart about it, like
Jackson. I can't remember his first name because I'm stoned.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, it's not
probably
going to
every
stop.
year.
It's not going to stop.
Yeah.
And once Michael Vick got hurt for the first time, it kind of didn't stop after that. So it makes sense.
Start slowing down
all
just a little bit.
All
just a
these
little bit.
quarterbacks that there is. I mean, Mac Jones, Matt Ryan. You can kind of say Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow extends the pocket. You don't have pocket passers. You don't have people that just stand in the pocket and just get rid of the ball.
But you don't. It doesn't. Man. The guys that have to run don't seem to make it that far anymore. Yet. Or they haven't. No one's broken through yet.
Aaron Rodgers is probably the exception to all this because I feel like he has the capabilities to be a pocket passer, but he also has the legs to kind of extend the pocket.
Right, but that's
it's gotten
kind of
him
like,
hurt in the
but that
past.
is kind of the new hybrid, right? Like, I would imagine, because right now, like, probably Josh Allen would be the one that comes to mind that has to run, but can also is a
He
great,
can do both,
is a great passer. Because Lamar has to run,
Has to.
but he's not a great passer, and so if he has to stay in the pocket, that's where he struggles. But if Josh Allen has to stay, if you take away the running, he can stay in the pocket and beat you. I can't think of anybody else.
Well, you think of people like Jalen Hurts, where it's like the running helps his game so much because if he didn't have the running game, I
Right.
don't know if he'd be a starting quarterback.
Right.
And I think that's for a lot of these guys, Lamar Jackson,
Right.
even Kyler
So
Murray
is
to a certain
Kyler
extent.
in that?
I think he
in
is.
that?
I think he is.
Russell?
No, because what Russell showed me so many times was he's way smarter than Kyler is. Maybe I'm just giving Russell a pass on this. He probably is. He probably is. I just seen.
But see-
I've seen Russell in bigger games do
I
better.
don't know that
about,
Russell has to run, but
he
was
does.
always very smart
Right.
with his running. Like, I don't remember ever seeing him take a big
No,
hit.
because he only runs if he knows I have a clear
Right, if
lane,
he has to,
and I can
right.
either get down or I can get out of bounds, and I
Right.
know I'm not going to get touched.
And Mahomes seems to like.
Yeah,
it's
Mahomes
kinda-
kind of does
Mahomes
the same
is
thing.
kinda the
Yeah, he
same
does the
way,
same thing.
right.
But I've also seen Mahomes try to lower shoulder,
but,
and
yeah,
and
I think he's gonna. He should better stop that. shit.
and Mahomes is known for rolling around back there in the pocket, doing
a bigger
the,
kid too, though.
doing the Aaron Rodgers thing
Yeah.
where it's like I'm going to extend this. Okay, well Aaron Rodgers has a couple of fake collarbones to show for rolling around back there in the pocket and trying to extend this a little bit longer. I mean, as far as a true dump it off quarterback, Matt Ryan, Mac Jones, I can only think of a few that are left.
Yeah.
And by the way, I am not sold on Mac Jones. So I'm not here to tell you,
No,
Mac
I'm
Jones
not
is about
either.
to be the next Tom Brady. No, I don't think so at all. But I think he doesn't have wheels.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much just a pocket passer. Although he did have that big run in the Pro Bowl. Nobody chased him. Whatever. Yeah, so then the Rams offensive coordinator this morning, I don't know his name. It's something, it's like O'Connell
Yeah,
or something.
it just came out.
But yeah, he is going to be introduced as the Minnesota's head coach. I have a feeling that
He's
wink,
white?
wink, that
Is
you
he
know, yep, of course. What do you mean? He's a head
Well,
coach in the
they
NFL.
said- no, then so today they said that there's only 2 black coaches, but I thought that the kid that Miami's head coach is black.
Yeah, he's half, and I don't know.
That makes you black.
Well,
God damn it!
I agree. I mean, I wish I was half. I wish I had. I wish I had at least a little bit of
Reminds me of Key
little
and Peele.
something.
Key and Peele, when he's the president, and he's like, "Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, my brother."
Yeah, yeah.
And then he gets to Key, or which is he Peele or Key? I can't remember. He's like,
He's key.
looking at it, he's like, he's 1/8 black.
My brother. Yeah. Key and Peele's amazing.
They're
But yeah,
hilarious.
I don't know if Sean McVay was calling most of the plays in the Rams. I don't know if this guy had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But it's I guess a good idea to pair him with Kirk Cousins and try to fix this. I like it for Justin Jefferson. I feel like whatever we just did for Cooper Kupp, plug in Justin Jefferson in there. If the first
Different
three,
players, but
fantasy football, if you go Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and the first 3 picks, I don't think you're wrong anymore. I have changed my ways. Those are probably going to be the top 3. I would imagine those
Jonathan Taylor,
Yeah.
and Derrick Henry. Those are the only 2 guys. Those are the only 2 running backs that I think that I would consider taking.
Austin Eckler.
Nah.
But Austin Eckler will go high this year. He will go
But
top
Austin
10.
Eckler also seems. I mean, maybe I'm just crazy, but it seems to he's always hurt too.
He does. He went for a long time this season without getting hurt, but he was at the end. He was banged up. But he actually went for a lot of weeks in a row with not getting hurt. And maybe that'll change next year. Maybe people like Dalvin Cook will come back next year and be stronger and better.
But he's on that. He gets hurt.
He's a used car, just like Zeke Elliott and Christian McCaffrey and
shit.
Saquon Barkley.
Honestly,
no way.
yeah, no, and
No way, Saquon Barkley. Not drafting. I don't think he should.
I'm with you on. There's a lot of these big name running backs that are got a lot of miles on them. A lot of miles.
And I didn't respect the receiver enough, but I think that the receiver now has truly become in fantasy football.
Yeah, and especially the way
some of the most sought
especially
after.
the top receivers.
Yeah.
Because again, like with running backs, if a number one run, let's say, okay, who would be the best example? So Derrick Henry got hurt, right? And their backups, not Derrick Henry, but they were serviceable.
Yeah,
right?
you
can find,
And they're
running
always
backs.
out there. Those
Right.
ones are always sitting out there on the waiver wire.
Devontae Adams goes down. That doesn't necessarily make the other receivers that valuable because you don't have any idea who the fuck he's going to throw it to.
Well, and a good point is that we don't draft the backup running backs, but we do draft the backup wide receivers for a lot of teams.
The second ones,
we
yeah.
pick the second ones for a lot of our teams have like the number 2 option. I had Chase Claypool,
Thielen,
but Deontay Johnson,
Higgins.
yeah,
Right.
Deontay Johnson was the number 1, but I had the number 2, and I'm sure other people were, yes, absolutely. I think that getting the top tier, getting Debo Samuel,
getting the number 1 option.
AJ Brown, Mike Evans now that he probably will be, and depending on
Cooper Kupp.
I heard that Deshaun Watson.
What about Hunter Renfro? Because that motherfucker came on, started.
Yeah, he's definitely getting drafted. He went undrafted last year in a lot
Yeah,
of
I
leagues,
picked
and
him
that's
up. Yeah.
that's not happening.
And he
this year.
finished
That's not happening
as a
this
top
year.
20 fucking
Yeah,
receiver.
he's getting drafted high, probably second
And
round.
especially the way that especially the way like your league is set up,
Yeah.
where you can literally start 4 wide receivers.
I am going to do the super flex, so it's going to be the 2 quarterback league.
Right. Which I like.
And that changes things slightly because if
then the
somebody
quarterback's
takes
more
one,
valuable, right.
if somebody takes one in the first round, it can make people gun happy of like, oh, I don't want to miss out on my guy. Like I really want Josh Allen or I really want Joe Burrow. If somebody goes Patrick Mahomes early, it might make everybody go, oh shit. And I might be one of them because in a 2 quarterback league, you can't miss out on a top tier quarterback. You gotta have one. You gotta have one of the top 5 because other than that, you're playing catch up in that position.
Well, I mean, just the other league I played in, the dude, when they fucked up the goddamn draft, and he wouldn't have got these 2 guys, but he did, and he had Mahomes and Allen, and he won because you can't. You
can't have 2. I mean,
one of those guys can win you a week.
Yeah, if you luck into a where you have 2 of the top 5 like that, yeah you're gonna dominate. But yeah, let's see what else came from this Super Bowl weekend.
So it's about Harden and Ben Simmons. I think it's actually good for both teams.
I don't think the Sixers won in this at all. I don't understand what they're doing. They got for what? For this loser that gets out of shape?
But Simmons wasn't even playing.
But you gave up. You didn't just go. I would have understood if you said Ben Simmons for James Harden straight up.
Oh, because they gave up Curry
You gave
and
up
Drummond?
Seth Curry and 2 first-round draft picks and Andre Drummond just for shits and giggles. It's like, man, like, okay, so now here's what you are. You're a pick-and-roll team with James Harden and Joel Embiid. Cool, great. That's going to account for 50, 70 points, but you've got nothing else because Tobias Harris is out for the season. You have pretty much no other guard. Seth Curry was your only guard that was helping you shoot. James Harden falls apart every single playoffs. I have no belief in James Harden. I know Joel Embiid is good, but this is about James Harden, and you got a guy that has quit 2 years in a row on his team.
I'm with you there.
He's a loser.
But I think that the flip side of it is that he wants to win so bad. He's chasing the fucking ring, and he thinks that this is the and Embiid's the
Bucks
same
beat him.
way.
The Bucks beat him. The Heat beat him. I'll put the Bulls up against him and probably say they beat him because they've got too much. First of all, he doesn't play defense. So now you gave up Seth Curry, who was hungry and playing some defense. I'm sure it wasn't great. But Andre Drummond, who actually, since he got cut by the Lakers and has gone to the Sixers, he's been averaging like fucking 14 rebounds a game. And he's playing good minutes for him. I don't know. It was a lot to give away, and now
I didn't think they were going to give away draft picks. Too.
Yeah,
like,
two
it
first
like
round draft picks.
Yeah, but
and also think about this: the Nets went from having a disgruntled fat boy James Harden who's not getting. Here's what's happened: the league has figured out what James Harden is, and they're not fouling him. So they're letting him run into the basket, and then everyone's throwing their hands up and going, no, we know what this pussy wants. He wants to flail his arms, and he wants to act, he wants to flop, and he wants to act, and then he wants to go to the line, and he wants to get his 40 points a game. And we're not going to give it to him anymore. We're going to guard him on the three-point line because he is a good three-point shooter. But other than that, he's not getting the foul calls that he used to. He used to average like 12 free throws a game, and I think it's down to like 6. I think it's been cut in half. I'm making those numbers up completely, but I just, hey, look this up. I don't know. I also think the Nets became a better team because if Ben Simmons plays,
if Kyrie will
come
on.
I don't believe in the
and that
I don't
was my
believe in the
thing.
Nets.
Like I think Harden was like, okay, this is bullshit. This is not what we fucking signed up for.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm fucking leaving. Like, what the fuck? I want to win a championship.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not a James Harden fan.
I'm not either, but I think that I think he's still an elite player when he wants to be. He just doesn't want to be.
That last part's the problem.
But if he thinks that he can win I think this is where Joel Embiid comes in, because Embiid is playing like he wants to win a fucking championship.
But he's also injury prone too.
I just thought of that.
This fucking guy might get hurt too.
I was like, they could both be
hurt.
They
both could be out.
But fuck, when's the last time Durant played?
Here's the problem.
What the fuck?
You're absolutely right. Ben Simmons wasn't getting you anything.
He refuses to play. It's the same thing like Deshaun Watson with us.
Yeah.
If he won't play for you,
he's doing nothing for you.
We could get fucking anything for him.
But goddamn, I hope at least the conversation started where I hope they didn't just start with this. I hope this wasn't the first offer. I hope the first offer was Ben Simmons for James Harden. If Brooklyn got this, what?
Yes,
they want to give us all of this.
Did you watch? Because last night Seth Curry and Drummond played, and Brooklyn ended their 11-game losing streak finally.
Yeah, I mean, and I also think that
Well, here's the other thing.
I don't believe in the Nets though.
Really? But here's the thing:
coin.
if Kyrie would play every game in the playoffs, and KD's healthy, Ben Simmons
makes them way better.
Is an elite lockdown. He can lock down the other team's best player,
and you're not asking him to give you 20 points,
and you don't need him to score at all.
Don't have to.
All you got to tell him to do is get the ball to fucking Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I want you to be a point guard that just passes, and I don't want you to shoot. I'm happy that you don't shoot.
Give him the ball to Kyrie. Give him the ball.
The problem is, they're not going to be a high enough seed that they will get Kyrie for 4 out of the 7 games. They're only going to get him for 3.
But those laws can change.
Nah, they're not going to. I don't know.
Just saying.
Those blue states are pussies.
Yes, but the primaries are coming up, so they got to
change it
start
up.
giving.
The James Harden trade, I don't know. There wasn't anything else real big. CJ McCollum got traded to the Pelicans. Kind of sucks for him. He kind of went from a bad situation to a bad situation.
Apparently, we got Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, but I have a smelling sensation that we might end up waiving him by the end of the year. Yeah. Because we're not trying to win.
So the Lakers didn't do shit either.
I know, and apparently they asked to stay pat and stay put, and The only thing I can imagine is that maybe he's thinking it'll be easier to move Russell in the offseason when he's not.
Bro, he's owed like $45 million.
But maybe when he's not playing.
Holy shit.
And you can't, because the thing is that Russell Westbrook fucks up so much that LeBron knows you send him out there on the trade block right now, they can pull up last night's game and go, huh? What?
What was LeBron thinking when he went to get Russell Wilson or Westbrook?
No idea.
What the fuck?
No idea.
$45 million.
Russell Wilson might be better at this point at basketball. I think that the Lakers have accepted the fact of what this year is. I think that LeBron's accepted. I mean, now you see.
But then if he's there next year too, then right?
Yeah. And so,
can you just pay him?
Maybe LeBron doesn't care about winning. I never thought I'd say that, but maybe LeBron is just, I'm going to chase these points. I'm going to live in LA. I'm going to play with my son, and I'm going to ride off into the sunset after I play with my son. And I mean, it breaks my heart, but maybe that's what, or he's tricking us all because he has the option of becoming a free agent next year. He has a player option. LeBron does. That. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he's talking to people.
Go back to Cleveland.
Hey, Cleveland's pretty good. Join Colin Sexton.
Honestly, I think if it was me and I would tell him chase the rings like you were talking about.
Go back to Miami.
Yeah, I mean,
go back to Miami
like you were saying
Jimmy Butler
last week. Humble yourself, humble the ego.
Yeah.
Take the veterans minimum and go win 2 more chips.
Because you could. Because if you walked on to any of these other teams that I'm naming, you go to the Golden State Warriors the same way that Kevin Durant does.
I think Golden State's going to win it this year anyway.
And if LeBron joined them, they definitely would win. LeBron joins them, they win 2 in a row again. I mean, yeah, I don't see the harm in it. I don't see the harm in trying to add up the rings because at the end of the day, that people just hear totals. So I can say LeBron's got 6 rings. LeBron haters are going to say, yeah, but he lost like 6 times. I'm going to say, it doesn't matter. He went to he went there. He got there. He got all the way there. Your guy can only get there 6 times. The rest of the time he was a loser. Basketball though, we're coming down. We're coming down to the end of it. We're coming down to the end of it.
I can't.
Yeah,
I can't let that go.
Yeah.
No.
What? So the rest of the time that Jordan played,
that was a completely different era.
Oh,
nobody moved around.
Where there was way more white guys.
Created fucking super teams.
Way more
like
shitty
that.
teams with John Starks.
They fucking literally
Jeff Hornacek.
Fucking have fights and shit.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Nobody fought Jordan. Nobody fought Jordan in a game. Who fought Jordan in a game? Who got in a fist fight with Jordan? I saw big boys getting in fights. I never saw little guys getting in fights.
You don't think he got knocked down, pushed around, punched, kicked?
LeBron and them get knocked down, pushed around. They get hit all the time. We don't accept it now.
We'll have to bring up some footage from them 80s and 90s basketball games again.
That's not basketball.
Have you ever gone back and watched the old
Now, that's
UFC?
not basketball, though.
It's not what?
That's not basketball.
What is it?
Like when you're teaching a kid basketball, you're not like, so when they come down the lane, what I want you to do is reach up with both hands and strike them in the face as hard as you can because ain't nobody come in my paint. That's not how you teach. You don't say, and by the way, if you smack them upside the head and get called for a flagrant 2, thank you.
It was in the 80s.
That's basketball. No, they had gotten out of control and these fucking...
But I liked watching it.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Watching it now.
Listen, I want them to bring hockey rules into everything.
Like you said, fucking what's his name? Curry ruined it.
Steph Curry ruined basketball.
Take away the 3-point line.
All of them think that they're 3-point shooters.
Take away the 3-point line.
But in hockey, the 2 men back up. They put their gloves down and say, "Sirs, we would like to duel. We would like to fight right now." And the refs have to say, "Okay, bring that into all sports."
I agree. I've been
every
single
sport.
2 people agree that they're
2 people say, "No,
backs
we want to fight."
Yes.
Back up.
Yes.
You back up. You let them fight, and watch the ratings go fucking sky high. By the way,
as soon as someone hits the ground, we'll all jump in.
People will be tuning in. You won't stop.
Yeah.
You want to talk about highlights?
And
you
I'll bet you there'll be a lot less. There'll be a lot less fucking talking.
I bet there would.
A lot less fighting.
I bet there would.
Because you'd be like,
First time Aaron Donald takes
What'd
his
you
helmet,
say? No.
Aaron Donald takes his helmet off and says, "Take your helmet off. I want to fight you right
wanna
now."
go?
And they go, "Oh no,
No, I'm good.
never mind.
No,
All
we
that shit
good.
talking, I'm never mind on it."
fine.
Yeah, no, I want hockey rules in
Hell
every single
yeah.
sport.
I was gonna say
Every
something
single,
that actually
golf. Every single sport.
Oh, that's what. This is how we fix basketball again. Make everything outside of the paint 2 points, and then the 3-pointers in the paint. If you, because then it will bring
like
back
that.
the you have to drive, you have to get to the basket.
I like that.
Yeah.
And even if what it does is makes people pull in a little bit and become more mid-range shooters, because here's what annoys me about watching nowadays basketballs is that everyone thinks they're 3-point shooters and they're not, and so you're watching people miss a lot.
Right.
You're just watching people walk down to the other side and jack up threes. Yeah.
Everybody else stand around, and then you
jacking
toss
up
it
a three.
out to him, and you
jacking up
jack
a three. And they're hitting.
Yeah.
And like you even see where like
And D'Antonio kind of ruined it too. Where
Yeah,
it's
he
like
did.
You figure out that the more possessions you
shoot,
get, the more so
right.
there's this up tempo, and it's just oh my
so
god.
even if they took a step in and became more mid-range jump shooters and then they started hitting more shots, that would make me happier, because that's what I hate about watching now in basketball is that you're just like, I'll see them get the offensive rebound and kick it out and the guy won't even think about it. He'll be like, cool, again. And it's like, wait a minute. We just fucked this up. You have 24 more seconds. Again, I don't know who's
Because
teaching these people
right.
basketball.
The analytics show
Just shoot.
that if
Just shoot.
You're right.
Just shoot.
Because
Get
you
the fuck
don't
outta
have to
here.
make as high a percentage of them.
That's crazy.
It's,
Well, I
nuts.
I
But
disagree.
Again, it has kind of ruined, at least for me, it's
Yeah, it's
kind of
ruined
fucking
basketball.
ruined it.
Yeah.
But isn't that? But then back to your point, that is basketball, right? Shooting.
Yeah, I guess.
That's when you're teaching a kid
But it
basketball.
doesn't have to
you
be from-
teach him shooting.
But it doesn't have to be from the 3-point line.
True, but that's the glory now. I mean,
Well,
like
that's
the
what-
farther
that's
away
what
you can,
Steph- that's what
farther
Steph
away
has-
you can knock them down.
Yeah, that's what Steph's done to us.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I
At
hear
a
you.
4-point line, that shit.
Yeah, that
That'll
might
make
be
it
there.
in.
There we go. There's
But
the
that
way.
would be even worse.
Well, and as usual, I'll bring up again. Release 2 tigers into Kierstead Stadium of all these sports. Immensely more exciting. Incredible ratings that you're getting. Now
shit.
you're not getting a lot of athletes because
Right.
most of them are dead. But I just want to see it once. Okay.
Well, then you'd have to arm the athletes so they could defend themselves.
I'm cool with that.
against The Tigers.
That's pretty cool. How badass is that? They're
Fuck.
out there playing basketball and they've got
And then they're
machetes tied to their
fighting
backs
tigers.
or guns. And then one of them gets fired up at the other player, and instead of fucking hitting him, he just pulls out his gun and shoots him. I mean,
I think you're creating a whole different
I'm writing
sport
movies
here.
for you here. Anyways,
We've gone way off.
way off the deep
Way
end here.
off.
What else did we miss? UFC, the 271 was this weekend. He did not watch. I'm about to ruin it for
Yep.
him.
Spoiler
But yeah,
alert for Dannon.
it was just a unanimous decision. He beat Adesanya.
It went all
Adesanya-
5.
Yeah, it went all 5. And I watched it. I paid for it, Dana. I definitely paid for it. But I watched it, and it was kind of boring. I mean, it was kind of like the Yoel Romero fight where, listen, Izzy doesn't have to be aggressive.
Yeah.
He's the champ. You want it? Come get it. And so he just kept him away. He just kept him away. And he kept pushing him off, and he didn't let him take him down, and he just picked him apart. So it wasn't an amazing performance like it was last time where he knocked him the fuck out, but it was still, you know, you can't beat a guy that you can't hit and you can't get near.
Very Mayweather.
Yeah, a lot of defense.
Can't
and
touch him.
Just, you can't touch
you
him.
gonna
So
do?
what are you going to do?
Yeah, he's real good at dancing.
And you got to go
getting
for
out of the
broke
way,
in that
yeah.
situation. There were multiple times where I was watching, I was like, Whitaker's just got to fucking rush in. And I know this. The fear is if I rush in, he can fuck me up, and he has before in the past.
I like Adesanya.
I like him.
I like
love him.
Adesanya as just. I like him as a person. Like, did you see what
Oh,
he said at that press conference?
For Joe, yeah. It's awesome.
He's like, oh, I can answer that. I'm black.
He's like, I'll take this one. And all you people talking shit, I loved it. Yeah, he's awesome, and he just got paid. They just signed him to the apparently like after Connor he's like second paid, highest paid. So,
Good.
and he should be.
Yeah.
He should be as far as a character goes, as far as a superstar that they can sell, a champion that's on a 10-fight winning streak, and you know, like all. And the thing is, he had the balls to go up to light heavyweight, fight a guy that was much bigger than him, that basically laid on him.
Yeah.
That's basically how he won the fight. It's not like he took a ton of damage.
Jan
Jan Blachowicz,
yeah.
who has now lost his title already at light heavyweight. It's gone to Glover Teixeira now. So I could see him doing it again. I have no doubt that Izzy will go up again.
And fight Teixeira?
Teixeira or whoever's the fucking champion at the time. Might be this Yuri, this J-R-I-I, I don't know. J-I-R-I is how you say his name. Yuri. But
Were
yeah.
there any good fights?
And then Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Who won that?
Tai Tuivasa knocked him out. Of course. This fight was not going to the end.
Yeah. That was the one I
not
really
going
wanted to see.
They actually both caught each other with a nice check left hook at the same time. They both hit each other with a left hook at the same time, and they both, oh, fuck. And then I really like this Tai Tuivasa guy. He's kind of Mark
He's
Hunt.
Australian, right?
Yeah. Australian.
Yeah, he
He's
does
got the
look like-
tats all over him, just like Mark Hunt. But yeah, he rushed in and landed a nasty elbow and just knocked him out. Felt bad for Derek Lewis, man.
Knocked him out with an elbow.
Yeah, with an elbow. This is his hometown. You know, he's from
it was
Houston,
here in
and he was
Houston,
here, and really wanted him to get that win. But Tai Tuivasa, and then of course did his shoey, drank the beer out of the shoe.
And he does the
he's got the front from the area on his lip. He's pretty good, and definitely climbing the ranks as far as heavyweights goes. Not a lot of heavyweights, so as far as heavyweights, he's probably in line to. And now what's crazy is now what do we do now? Because Francis Ngannou says he's not going to fight, so he won his fight.
Oh, they're gonna get the stupid interim belt then. Like,
well, and you know what? I hate it, but I also love that Dana moves on and he don't give a fuck.
You have to do that because if your champ won't fight, then you have to give it to somebody else because it has to keep moving.
And John Jones brings up a good point. John Jones versus Stipe. That's maybe one of the best fights of all time. That's what he's calling out, and I fucking love it. That is
John Jones is calling that out.
Yeah, he wants that
Does Stipe want to fight
heavyweight. I mean, Stipe wants his belt back. So if it's not Francis Ngannou, if he can't get Francis Ngannou, he deserves. Yeah. I think he deserved another shot too. Stipe was a champ for a long time. So, but I love that fight. John Jones versus Stipe is boxer on boxer, or well, John's not really a traditional boxer.
Did DC ever fight John?
John Jones?
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Dude, I smoke so much.
Oh my God, they had that famous the two fights. I mean, yes.
I'm going to have to go back and watch them again.
The two fights that they had were epic.
I've lost a lot of my memories.
He took DC down. John took DC down in the first fight. And beat him by unanimous decision.
That's right.
And then in the second fight, he kicked him in the fucking head. He KO'd him and he kicked him in the fucking head. And that's one where you got DC crying in the cage afterwards where he's like, man, I don't know. But no, John has absolutely beat the fuck out of DC multiple times. And I think Stipe versus John is a good fight, but it worries me that we're throwing John into that right away. I would love to see John versus any other heavyweight.
Just to see.
Because you are putting him up against the tip of the spear. You're putting him in there with, arguably number one. It's Francis Ngannou, Stipe. Those are the top heavyweights in that division. Let him fight Tai. Let him fight Tai Tuivasa. Let him fight.
Right, because then if he can beat him, then at least we know.
Fight Derek Lewis or Curtis Blades or something like that.
Go take somebody else.
Jesus, we're just throwing him in there versus. I'm scared for John because he's had this perfect career that could get wiped away with one Stipe. Stipe has the power to knock you out. So I don't know. That's a crazy fight, and I'm down for it. I will take off work for it. I very much want to watch that. So I'm cool with that. Some other things that happened. Bobba Fett came to an end. I don't know why they call it Bobba Fett. They should just call it The Mandalorian. That's what it is, and it's much better with the Mandalorian shows back up in the last couple episodes. Please just do that. Don't call it Bobba Fett. Don't be silly. It's just The Mandalorian. It's a good show. But that had its season finale, and I'm not a big enough Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I think I started watching the first episode, and I never went back. So.
It's good action, but they are dangerously getting into that point where I have to be a super nerd to understand it. And originally the Mandalorian, when I watched it, I was like, I don't really have to understand Star Wars. This is just
I like
cool
the
action,
Mandalorian.
Yeah. But now it's getting a little I gotta know who all these characters are and I gotta know their names, and you can go eat a dick with that shit. So but That being said, we're brought to you by Disney Plus, and thank you. Yep,
and
all of you.
Hulu
Yeah,
and all
but
them,
Peacemaker's
What's that?
Oh, dude, with John Cena. It was his character on Suicide Squad.
No, I started watching
the show.
that.
It's really, really good. And the finale comes out this Thursday. The last one comes out this Thursday. But it's been really, really good. I've enjoyed Peacemaker a lot. And the guy Vigilante, shout out to that guy. He is fucking hilarious. He clearly has like Asperger's or autism or something where he can't understand emotions. And there's one part where he's crying, where Peacemaker's crying, and he's like, dude, it's a really weird time to do your face exercises right now. Like, you know, hats off to you for having a svelte face, but this is not it. This is not the time to be doing it. And he's like, dude, he's crying. So hilarious. I love Peacemaker. I love too that DC's kind of figuring out, like, if we're gonna do this, we got to be funny. And maybe our way of being different is that, you know, Marvel's owned by Disney and they got to be clean to a certain extent. But this is graphic as fuck. Like this Peacemaker show is graphic as fuck. There's sex in it. There's, you know, the cursing.
I was watching. Was it on the actual movie or was it in the show? He's like, I got a big dick. And he's like, no, really. It's too big. It hurts people or something.
That's in the movie. Yeah, that's in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, no, John Cena. And also, I thought at the beginning of this show, I was like, I don't know if he has enough funny in him to carry a show. Like, he's good, but I don't know if he can, like, but he's killed it. He's made me laugh consistently.
I think John Cena's hilarious.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. And this is definitely going to be, they're going to pick this up for another season. You can tell because it's got lots of people watching it and it's really funny. So, Peacemaker. 2 thumbs up. Bubba Fett. 1 thumb up, but you're not getting 2. Should have made it more. There was a cool part where, because I remember the old video games of Star Wars. Did you ever stumble into those at all? I'm talking about like Nintendo 64 Star Wars games. There was one where you fought Bubba Fett. And he was like flying around, and it was like, oh shit,
bruh, I don't remember shit anymore.
Right? Yeah, you didn't remember that John Jones and DC just fought. Yeah, I'm
missing a lot.
Yeah, there's chunks that are missing, and that's okay. That's what the marijuana's for.
That's I think the cause of.
Well, and also what it's there to help. It's there to erase more.
Yes, and it's cannabis induced amnesia.
And you know what? That's why these shows are great, because we'll be able to look back on this, and this will never go away. YouTube is going to keep a record of this forever.
This is how we are going to live forever.
Yep. And I made a clip of Tom Brady retiring. I made 1 clip and promised myself I was going to do more, and I am. I'm going to make more clips.
Tom Brady is 45-1 to win the MVP next year, and apparently Caesars will refund your money if he doesn't play.
Wow,
it's a pretty good bet.
Good bet, actually. Yeah, because
45-1. I mean, he was almost.
If he comes back in the next, like, let's say month, like he's like has a couple of weeks off, and he's like, you know what? Actually, I'm not retired.
Did you see Gronk thinks that he's going to come back?
Really?
After a season or 2 away.
Oh,
I think he thinks basically.
Well, shut your fucking mouth! I told you that I thought it's a possibility that he comes back after a little brief
1 year of watching
and can maybe talk see where Tampa Bay does, see how they rebound, and then maybe he can either talk himself into coming back there or see like, hey, will y'all let me go try to win somewhere else? But yeah, very interesting. I also, it's probably all bullshit. I think in the new Man in the Arena, because he's going to have another one come out. It's supposed to come out sometime in the spring. I think he has like at the end of it, it's like a big, like, that's where he does his official saying goodbye to the game. And yeah. And
I don't think he's going to come back. I just don't think that he's going to do that.
I don't think he wants
wishy-washy back and forth. Like, he's made his decision.
He's got nothing to
I think he's got to know that he's going to feel some type of way about one, like a part of him's going to want to
play.
Like,
always.
And that, you know, he's just got to put that shit to rest. Like, it's got to be done.
I think too, like, maybe if he hadn't won last year with Tampa Bay, and there was kind of that, man, can I win? Not with Bill Belichick. Like the winning in Tampa Bay solidified that
season,
I am one of the best. I didn't need him. I didn't need the Patriots. I can do it on my own. I can win wherever. I'm a proven winner. I've been to 10 Super Bowls and won 7 of them. I've been to 14 championship games. Yeah. 14 of them. There is nobody that will come close. I've set my records. I'm the all-time leading passer. I'm top Drew Brees and everything. I don't think there's any reason to come back. I will say, any of these young bucks start making a run at his records, I could see him there because he's pretty competitive.
Like 75.
No, like if let's say in the next 2 or 3 years he sees somebody like Patrick Mahomes kind of like throw a big chunk up again and again and again, and he goes, "Hold on now." Hold on now. I won't have my record sullied. And then he says, you know what? Fuck it. I'll come back for another year so I can tack on another 4,000 and really have a hold of this record.
I think he's done.
He's pretty petty.
But Aaron Rodgers is going to need to make it. That's going to come out here in the next few weeks.
I just see him being too smart for his own britches. If he's smart, he does go to somewhere like Tampa Bay. If he's smart, he goes to Tennessee or Indianapolis.
So what's your prediction?
Denver. Because of the offensive coordinator, because I think it's also a subtle way to make a dig at Brady of, I won't go where you went, but I'll go where Peyton went. I won't be your sloppy seconds, but I'll go do what Peyton Manning did. But I think he's wrong. I think if he goes to the Broncos, I think it's a lot of the same thing of what he just experienced in Green Bay. I think they're good. They're an average team. They probably have a good regular season record with him, but then they get in the playoffs and they're going to get beat by one of these AFC teams. Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati. I have all of them beating an Aaron Rodgers-led Denver Bronco team. I think if he goes to the Steelers, that's a better situation than Denver. And I think that's maybe I would say I'm like 75% that he's going to Denver, 25 to the Steelers, because I think if the Steelers, they're a well-known organization, I think they have a lot to offer him. I think they can show him around and be like,
do both those teams have the picks because you got to trade for him?
Yeah, I mean, again, if you look at the Rams, the fuck you doing with your first-round picks anyways? Just give them up. Who cares?
That was the weird thing about the Lakers. Like, why were they so concerned about the 2027 first round pick?
That for?
Like, get the fuck out of here. Because apparently they were talking to Houston about swapping Westbrook for Wall.
My God, I don't want Westbrook back on this team though.
Well, no, but
I mean, if we're trying to lose, I guess it's a good thing.
You're paying Wall, that's like the same shit. Like Wall's not playing.
I don't understand that. I don't understand the John Wall thing. I don't even know if they put a reason out.
Apparently, they were going to move him, and so he's just. I waited on one time.
Yeah, but if you're John Wall, are you wasting your career away? Like, what are you doing, bro?
I guess. I mean, like when I was listening to his conversation, and he kind of was like, he's like, I'm just working out. That's all I'm doing. He's like, I get up, I work out, and wait.
Loser.
But what does John Wall care? It's not like he's had a great career anyways.
Yeah, but he could get on a good team and maybe play a little, harder, play a little.
Doesn't seem like he wants to.
Doesn't seem like he wants to. Yep.
The thing with these guys, especially
I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to.
I don't either, and that's why. I mean, honestly, I think that I asked you what your prediction was, and mine's he stays in Green Bay.
Well, they have the right to keep him, and I think that might be the more realistic. You're probably right. I mean, either maybe he stays in Green Bay or he retires because that.
But I just think that especially if you can sign Adams again,
they're going to tag him.
Well, that's what but that's why we'll know what Aaron's going to do because he's going to have to make a decision before the franchise tag deadline, which is March 8th.
They're going to. I feel like they tag Devontae Adams no matter what. Whether Aaron Rodgers wants to be there or not, they got to at least hold on to that piece. Because if they're going to be... And also, here's my thing. They lose Aaron Rodgers and they become a Jordan Love team. Okay. They're not good, but with Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams and a defense that's not terrible and an offensive line that's not terrible, I still see them winning seven games.
Yeah, they're going to tag him anyways, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to tag.
Because you can tag him and then work out a deal.
Because you have Aaron Rodgers under contract, so you don't have to worry about him.
Right.
You just have to worry about
him. But he could just be like, fuck it.
He could retire. Or he could say, I want to go here. And then you call that place up and they're not willing to give you what you want. And that's the thing, too, is that Green Bay might be asking for a lot.
I heard, it's shocking, but the Colts are done with they don't want Wentz anymore.
Oh yeah, well, I wonder why. It's just like when I talk about Ryan Tannehill too. It's not that Ryan Tannehill and Carson Wentz aren't okay quarterbacks, but in the playoffs, too many, and it's not even like either one of them have been in the playoffs that much. But when I see you in the playoffs and I see you fuck up that bad, because both of them fucked up bad. Tannehill threw 3 picks, 2 of them late in the game that cost the game with Cincinnati.
I just
Lost
think
them the
that,
game.
like, if you're Aaron Rodgers, where do you have a better?
Tennessee.
Yeah, but do you have a better chance of making the Super Bowl in the AFC or the NFC?
I know. I guess I'm thinking about the team in general.
I'm just saying, like, you go to the AFC, and now you got to beat Mahomes, Allen, Burrow,
well,
Herbert.
it's why it's smarter to go to Tampa Bay.
But there's no way that they trade him into the NFC, right?
No, not if you're Green Bay, right?
And
Yeah.
so, like, that's why he's going to stay in Green Bay. He's either going to retire or stay in Green Bay.
Probably. I'm really hoping for the carousel because I just think it'll be fun.
Oh yeah, I'd love.
I hope that everybody moves around.
Hell
but
yeah, me
you're
too.
You're probably right. People probably stay
Shake
put.
it up, baby.
Yeah.
Well, it does seem like the NFL's for the longest time, the NFL there was no trades.
Right.
There was nothing. You didn't do that shit. And now it seems like it's slowly changing.
Yeah, we had Kirk Cousins move, and we had
and it makes it more fun. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that Harden got traded. I'm glad that went down because now it makes it more fun. Now I'm actually kind of interested in watching what happens.
Yeah.
Because now I want to see. Now I want
It
to see.
seems like
Okay,
in
does it?
basketball, it's gotten a little out of control, and to the
Yeah,
to the point where we can't even keep track of where your original loyalties lie.
And not just that, but where's the sport at when a dude can fucking force you to fucking like talk his way out
Twice.
of it in like 18 months?
Fucking crybaby ass bitch. James Harden is a loser, and he always has been. His butthole will pucker when the playoffs come. He will be the reason that the Sixers lose, and I can't say enough bad things about him. I said this while he was a Rocket. I used to say it when he was a member of the team that I love. I used to say, I cannot wait till this fucking loser gets off of my team because he's a loser. Yeah, but that's about all the good things I can say about James Harden. No, he does tip well. You do tip well.
He does tip well.
But you need to look people in the eyes and not be such a little baby back bitch. Man, James Harden could fuck me up too, you know? Like it's another one of those.
Yeah,
he's
he's a
huge.
big dude.
But
He's solid. I'm gonna root for Phoenix this year, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. Because I'd like Chris Paul to win.
I think I'm riding with Memphis.
Oh, I do like
I think
Ja.
I'm gonna root for Ja.
If it wasn't for Chris Paul, I probably would.
I don't
be
think
with
it's
you.
realistic. I don't think mine's realistic. Like I don't think they're gonna win, but
Right, but
I'm
you're gonna
rooting
root- you're
for
gonna-
them. Yeah. All right, man.
Cool.
Well, shit.
We done?
Yeah, we Super Bowled up. We talked about some other shit. We talked about some
went off on
things
some
and
crazy
some this.
tangents.
Yeah, we
That
went
was
on
weird.
some tangents. I think that's what you can expect here coming up.
Yeah, you want the-
because we don't have the games to guide us.
There's no structure
yeah.
anymore.
I'll give you another good sexual story next week. There was no strawberries this week, but I'll find one. I'll dig deep into my basket of weird sexual shit that's happened to me.
I don't have any.
Yeah.
I just missionary for me.
Here we go. Right off the bat. First time trying anal, she shit all over me. And I don't mean a little bit of shit. I mean a lot of bit of shit. A lot of shit. To the point where now I want nothing to do with anal. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want the butthole because I've seen it betray me. I had to walk straight into the fucking shower like I was Ace Ventura and just stand there and just cry and wash the poo off of me. The butthole is now. I blame the girl because she should have done a little. She should have, you know.
When was that?
She should have thought about it. You know, we talked about it. She knew I was going in the butt. She should have run a self-diagnostic and said, "You know what? I'm not ready for this."
Maybe an enema or something.
Or just go poop. Or just go poop before. Yeah, it was all over me. It was all over the bed. It was all over her. Nothing sexy about it, let me tell you. And I guess that's my PSA for the day. That's my public service announcement. Stay away from the butthole. The vagina is perfectly nice. Just watch out, because it'll get you. It'll get you. Thanks, you guys. Y'all have a good one.